certain things, such as after Harley was hospitalized, he came to family therapy and stated that his mom told him to tell me that he don't love me and doesn't want to be around me.
Case at this point, from your perspective?
Your Honor, at this time, my client is not exactly happy going forward with the visitation at this point. The kids' behaviors have been escalating and becoming extreme. One child had to be taken to the crisis center, and I think 2 weeks ago. He was since released. I think that the ongoing therapy may still be helpful for the children, but at this time, we're not comfortable with the continued supervised visits. We are also a little uncomfortable with the supervision as it stands. I think that while Mr. Booth's friend, Mr. Hayes, is observing the visits, I don't necessarily know that he's in proximity to the visitation enough to be a actual supervisor. But I don't know if that's kind of where we're at right now with regards to the visitation and that.
Okay. Mr. Booth, what's the status from your perspective of the visits? You're muted.
Yes, I was muted. Sorry. Your Honor, it's been disclosed through family therapy and through the supervised visits that Miss Booth has been telling the children certain things, such as after Harley was hospitalized, he came to family therapy and stated that his mom told him to tell me that he don't love me and doesn't want to be around me. She has also apparently been telling the kids about the divorce and about the criminal court. She has also told the children that I'm going to jail and that everything that's going on, I'm lying about. She has also apparently told the children that I hit them and I abused them and that they need to continue saying these things in order for me to go to jail. This has all been brought up in family therapy, as well as they have talked about this stuff during the supervised visits, and me and the supervisor, Mr. Hayes, have had to tell them that we can't talk about those things and that it needs to stop.
So did the therapist tell you the children said these things?
I was sitting in family therapy when they said those things.
The children said those things to the therapist?
To the therapist and me in family therapy.
Have we received a report from the therapist?
I brought this up with Miss Cooper and asked her to get with the family therapist and get an update on that stuff. I'm not sure if that's been done. According to the family therapist, she still has not requested it. I did talk to the family therapist this morning. She said that if you grant permission, then she will go ahead and give me that report with that session where all this was said and get it to you directly.
Ms. Cooper,
Thank you. I would like to see an updated report from the therapist. I also need the kids to come into my office. I know there's been issues potentially with scheduling with my schedule, probably the kids' schedule, as well as mom's and the weather. But if hopefully they can get in the next couple of weeks. I know the therapist said she could get me a report within a couple of weeks.
how long have the kids been in therapy with this therapist now?
We've been going approximately 2 or 3 months, Your Honor. I think we're at like 3 months.
Right. And has any sort of a report been produced yet?
She had written a letter. I think I disseminated it back in late December, early January.
I never got that letter.
I never got that letter either.
Mom's words echo through therapy as kids repeat rehearsed rejection, and suddenly love sounds scripted instead of felt.
Ms. Cooper, have you had any recent contact with the kids regarding any of these issues?
No, I need somebody to make an appointment for them to come see me at the office.
All right, well, this isn't what I was hoping we'd hear today. I'd hope we'd be making some progress, but I have concerns from both ends at this point. At the last hearing, there was some talk about the parties working out the property division. Has there been any progress on that front?
Your Honor, I've got a working spreadsheet with regards to that. I did discuss a few of the items with Mr. Booth. Some of the information was sent in interrogatories back, and I went through those, and I've got new additional questions that I'm sending out in interrogatories and finalizing that hopefully this week. I know the weather's kind of prevented me from being in the office a couple times, which that's been a little difficult, but as for getting that out, I'm hoping to have it out by Friday to him. He will get it in an email as the additional information that I'm seeking to be able to just divide it up with what we believe will be an accurate division of the property as it stands.
So you and Mr. Booth have had some communications or exchanges of information?
We have.
Okay. Mr. Booth, anything that you would add regarding the division of property and debts?
Your Honor, most of it is like I'm still trying to get a hold of the IRS for back owed taxes. They currently aren't taking phone calls or anything like that because it's tax season. Other than that, that's pretty much the big one that I'm waiting on.
And I think part of our discussion was the house and whether that be sold or not. It's my understanding that Mr. Booth does not wish to sell the house at this point.
All right. Ms. Hoyle, what's your opinion on what needs to happen moving forward to move towards resolution of not only the division of assets and debts, but issues regarding parenting time and so forth?
At this time, I'd like to get my see if we can come to an agreement about the division of assets. I think we would be really close. My only hangup is that my division of assets would include the sale of the house. It's the only realistic asset that either party has, and that would dividing that would handle separation of the assets and debt. So I think the house does need to be sold and sold at market value. That's how I would resolve that. I believe that they've already, most of personal property has mostly been divided and separated at this point. I believe that there is very little personal property that needs to be even discussed. I think we've already handled any small items. Outside of that, the debts have already been divided as to who's going to pay what. And I think that point has already been decided. I think the only point of contention at this point is the house itself. As for the kids, I would like for my client to remain we're asking for my client to remain the sole custody of the kids, so the legal custody of all 4 children. And supervision, I think it's going to have to be what the court decides at this point. I don't necessarily know that we would come to any sort of agreement on what that would look like. My client is still not comfortable with the supervised visits as it's occurring now. And she's willing to work with the kids remaining in some sort of family therapy and then going from there at this point.
When do the children next attend a family therapy session?
Your
think
Honor,
that-
it was due today, but it was canceled due to the weather.
Okay, do you know when it'll be
It'll be
rescheduled?
next Wednesday.
All right, I see I received a December 23rd report from Miss Cooper. I might take a minute to review this report. Did you send that to everybody?
I did, and I apologize. I thought I had sent that before the last hearing. I don't know if it was stuck in an outbox or what happened, but it should be out to Mr. Booth and Miss Hoyle as well right now.
I may have reviewed it at the last hearing. I'm not sure. I don't have it, but I'm going to take just a brief recess. Miss Hoyle, do you have a copy of that now? And
I
Mr.
do. I'm able to pull it up now. I did not have it one before.
Okay, and Mr. Booth, did you receive a copy also?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm going to take a brief recess to review this if you all want to take. All right, Ms. Cooper, are you with us still?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, we'll go back on the record. Same appearances as before. For purposes of the record, Ms. Cooper sent to all parties a letter dated December 23rd, 2024 from Megan Howard with South Central Mental Health, giving an update on therapy. I did have an opportunity to review that. Having now done so, Mr. Booth, what's your position on what the court needs to do moving forward to move towards resolution of all issues in this case?
Your Honor, as far as with the child visitation, I would like to see more time with the children. We're doing visitations right now on Saturday mornings in Winfield or Douglas, and there frankly is nothing open at the times that work for Miss Booth. So I would request that we have more time together. Right now we're only 2 hours on Saturday mornings. We've been doing from 9:30 to 11:30. Additionally, I would like to see that Miss Booth stop any interactions with the children as far as interfering with the therapy sessions or the bond between me and the children, as it's already been court ordered twice for that to occur, and it's still ongoing. And then I would like to, basically, I would like everything finalized and done with as soon as possible.
Thank you, Mr. Booth. Ms. Cooper, your thoughts on, as guardian ad litem, what you'd like to see happen moving forward?
Thank you, Your Honor. I think that therapy should continue. As I stated before, the therapist has indicated she could get me a report within a couple of weeks. So I think we should keep going the way things have been going for probably for at least another couple of weeks, get that report. And then if she recommends expanding parenting time, then that's probably what I'm going to be recommending. I don't think it's, I think Dad's request that Mom not disparage him or talk about the case with the kids is appropriate. I don't think Dad should be doing that either. I think it was already understood, or I hoped it was already understood, that neither parent should be doing that. So I think it's appropriate, if the court hasn't made that order already, to do so today.
The judge orders silence between parents, exposing how talk turns into damage because even truth becomes harmful.
All right, thank you, Ms.
I don't have any recommendations as far as the rest of their property division in that.
All right, so you don't think the therapist can get something out sooner than a couple weeks?
I don't know what her schedule is, but she told me about a couple of weeks.
All right. All right. First of all, I want to see the therapy continuing for all of the kids. I want the family therapy to continue. That appears to be a benefit to them. I have concerns with if the parties are disparaging the other parent or discussing the case with the kids. That's totally inappropriate. That's an order in any domestic case. the parents are not to disparage the other parent or discuss the details of the case with the kids. That needs to stop. If it's been happening, that goes for both parents. Oftentimes, in any case in which a parent's receiving visits or kids are receiving visits with a parent, I've seen it in sync cases, I've seen it in domestic cases. A lot of times there's some hyperactive behavior from the kids following those visits. Sometimes it's something to be concerned about. Other times it's fairly normal. I don't know what the situation is in this case. That's why I would very much like to have a updated report from the therapist. If Ms. Cooper, if I could direct you to request that, as she's apparently reached out to you to do so before, and get that provided to both Ms. Hoyle and to Mr. Booth, and a copy to the court as soon as possible. I understand.
Yes, I can do that.
I understand she's busy and probably has a backlog of cases, but if the sooner she could get that to us, the better, obviously. I'm going to keep the visitation order that's in place. I'm going to continue that. I understand your request for expanded visitation, Mr. Booth, but until I have a little bit more information, I'm not comfortable expanding that. I want to hear back from the therapist, mainly, and then just get a little more time with these visits, so we can hopefully, the court will have enough information in order to make, important decisions regarding custody and parenting time. I don't want to see this case be delayed too long, but there are dynamics in this case that are different than other domestic cases. And Mr. Booth has the criminal case that's ongoing, which is now set for trial. So that's still ongoing, outcome undetermined at this point. There's information needed from the therapist. Apparently, there's still some ongoing discovery and issues going on to resolve the property division. What I want to do is set this out one more time for status, and then hopefully at that time we'll have a lot more information available. Mr. Booth, do you recall, your trial date, was that a May setting? Do you recall? You're muted.
It's April 22nd through the April 24th, Your Honor.
All right. And obviously at this stage, I don't know if your case is going to go, if it is announced that week. I don't know what the priority will be, but that's when it's set. Currently, I don't want to go out that far necessarily. I'm going to go out about another 30 to 45 days. Angela, if we could get a date for another status.
April 7th at 2:30.
April 7th at 2:30.
Yes.
Does that work for everybody's calendar? And that'll be by Zoom again.
Your
I can do
Honor,
that.
I believe we already have we kind of set that initially. I have a petition for a contempt order on this case that we will be filing hopefully this week.
That is when we set the contempt.
And
Okay.
and I believe that has to be in person.
Okay, well, we'll set the status and contempt all for April 7th at 2:30 in person rather than Zoom.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do we need a court order to get a therapist report, or Ms. Cooper, are you confident you can get that resolved?
I
Otherwise,
think so. Before we scheduled this, I had asked her, and she had mentioned 2 weeks. I asked her if she could get me something by March 7th, which is more than 2 weeks. So I think she will. I don't see any reason she won't.
Your
And
Honor,
as soon as I get something, I'll get it out to everyone else.
Mr. Booth, yes?
can I get some information on the March 7th contempt? Because I haven't heard anything about it.
I don't, that's the first I've heard of it.
I can give a brief
April 7th.
April 7th, and it's my understanding that there is a court, there's a petition that's been filed by the mortgage company for foreclosure of the house due to non-payment.
Okay, I suspect you'll be served papers at some point prior to April 7th, Mr. Booth. All right, Miss Boyle, would you mind drafting up another just a brief order that summarizes what's been ordered here today, similar to what you did from the last time?
Yes, Your Honor, I can do that. I did have one request. I don't know, this is something that Ms. Cooper may have to answer. Is she able to talk to the kids' individual therapists?
That's another thing I wanted to address. Thank you. Go ahead and answer that, Ms. Cooper.
Yes, I can do that.
Okay. And do you want that as part of the order of the court that she would be doing that, or do we, I mean, I assume she could do that on her own. I don't necessarily know she needs a court order for that.
Well, I would direct Ms. Cooper that you visit with the individual therapists. And also I want the children to be made available to Ms. Cooper so she can visit with them privately as soon as it can be scheduled.
And I can help facilitate that.
Okay, that sounds good. Just in case you're trying to do it today, my office is kind of half closed because of the weather, but we should be back on track tomorrow. Someone will answer the phone tomorrow.
I'm hopeful too. My
Okay.
office has been half open, half closed. We got in today.
Thanks.
And,
Yeah,
and
me
I
too.
recognize that everybody's schedules are busy, but the sooner you get on to at least the scheduling process, we can get, hopefully, can be receiving a lot more significant information for me to work with moving forward. So, all right,
Your Honor.
Mr. Booth, anything further?
Yes, Your Honor. Can we also get put in the court order that Ms. Cooper be allowed the documentation of Harley's hospitalization and the crisis that he went to, as well as all the kids' school records, as far as like behaviors and stuff like that? This should be granted access to those.
Ms. Cooper, is that something you would normally want to access in your role?
Yes, and I think I guess I didn't look to today again to make sure. I think we already have an order indicating that, but if that language is in the latest one, that'll help me if someone gives me trouble, but I haven't had any issues talking to anybody yet.
All right, anything further, Mr. Booth?
No, Your Honor. Just 1 second. Hold on. I wrote notes, so. Your Honor, as far as current living conditions of the children, due to the concerns of, as I said, with the behaviors, Harley has ran away, the suicide, there's multiple concerns for the mental health and their like well-being, to include Liliana has been arrested for a curfew violation, which supports a lack of supervision. I'd request that the court possibly look at maybe finding a temporary living condition until everything can be addressed and all that information is revealed.
Well, Mr. Booth, something like that has to properly be brought before the court by way of a motion. Right now, I'm wanting to get, based on everything that I've heard today, that's why I want a therapist report. That's why I want the children to visit with Miss Cooper, so I can figure out what exactly is going on. If some of those decisions need to be made, then they need to be made, but I don't have sufficient information in front of me to make those kinds of orders right now.
All right, Your Honor.
All right, well, if,
Then
okay, Ms. Hoyle, if you could get that order from the day's hearing drafted, if we can get all this stuff moving, hopefully come April 7th, we'll have a better idea of what we need to do to get this case resolved.
Yes, Your Honor, I should have the court order at least to the parties for approval probably by end of day tomorrow would be my guess.
Okay. Very good. Well, thank you, everyone. If there's nothing further, we'll be in recess. Have a good evening.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.
A plea for emergency change meets a judge who needs facts, not fear, and this moment hangs heavy as everyone waits for proof, not panic. Remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next video.